are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. They might blow through boundaries. Your in-laws might meddle in your marriage. And you might even be having a hard time living with your in-laws. Possibly they are totally toxic. The truth is, you may never like your in-laws, and that's totally fine. It's just important that you keep the drama and the tension to a minimum as much as you can, for the sake of your spouse and your children, if you have them. Even though you formed a new family when you got married, your in-laws are the reason you have your spouse and a new family to begin with. And if nothing else, try to respect them for giving you your spouse. When you get married, you are not only married to your spouse, but their family as well. And while you may have fallen in head over heels in love with your partner, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will have the same feeling for their parents. Sometimes your in-laws are just difficult to get along with, but you want to try to have a good relationship with them. So what do you do? How do you get along with people you don't like? Number one, don't take things personally. There will be times when your in-laws will say or do something that will hurt your feelings. But it is important not to take things personally. They may not be intentionally trying to hurt you. It is important to also remember that they are just humans like everyone else. Number two is to accept your in-laws as they are. Understand that different doesn't mean wrong. Everyone's family has a certain way of doing things. It's totally normal and natural for your in-laws to do things differently from what you are used to. But it doesn't mean they are wrong. And also, it doesn't mean you are wrong. It just means you're different. For example, you grew up having a big feast on Thanksgiving. Your mom made awesome cinnamon rolls and a giant fruit tray, and your dad made the best omelette you've ever tasted. Now you're married and your in-laws go to McDonald's and grab egg muffins. It may seem weird to you and not as fun or exciting, but it doesn't mean they are wrong. It's just their way of doing things. Accept them for who they are and stop looking down on them for not living up to your standards or expectations. Trying to change them will only cause tension and conflict. Your in-laws are never going to change, so it is important you accept them for who they are. Instead of hate, focus on accepting them and building a relationship that works for the both of you. And number three is to avoid sensitive topics with your in-laws. There are certain topics that are likely to cause conflicts between you and your in-laws, whether it's politics, religion, or your parenting style. It is best to avoid these topics altogether. And if you can't avoid them, then be respectful and try to see things from their perspective. If you have disagreements, try to discuss them in a calm and respectful way, and avoid criticizing them openly, because this will only make things worse. And number four is to be patient. Building a strong relationship with your in-laws takes time and patience. It won't happen overnight, so don't expect it to. Be patient and understanding, and eventually you will be able to build a strong bond with them. And number five is to establish boundaries. Set those boundaries with a smile. It is important to set boundaries with your in-laws, especially if they are overbearing or meddling in your life. Let them know what you're comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with. And don't be afraid to stick to the guns, even if it means saying no to them. If you want your in-laws to call before dropping by, tell them. Or maybe you would prefer that your in-laws don't watch certain shows around your children. Just let them know. Setting boundaries keeps things nice and tidy and leaves the guesswork off the table. Also, and this is very, very important, each spouse should set boundaries with their own family. So you talk to your family and your spouse talks to their family, because it's much easier for a parent to have a potentially dicey conversation with their child than with their in-law. And if your in-laws don't like one of your boundaries, you do you and what's best for your family. But seriously, while setting boundaries, remember that you can't change nor control their reaction. And number six is to find a common ground. One of the best ways to build a relationship with your in-laws is to get to know them better. Ask them about their life, their interests, and their opinions on various topics. The more you know about them, the easier it will be to find a common ground and build a strong relationship with them. Yeah, I know it can be difficult to spend time with your in laws if you don't particularly enjoy their company. But if you can find activities that you both enjoy, it can help to build a stronger bond between you. And this could be anything from going for walks to playing cards to watching a movie together. However, if you're finding it difficult to be around your in laws for extended periods of time, then start spending time with them in small doses. You can start with short visits and gradually increase the amount of time you spend together. This will help you get used to their company and build a stronger relationship over time. Number 7 is to be thankful for the good moments. No matter how difficult your relationship with your in laws may be, there will always be good moments. Cherish those moments and be thankful for them. Practicing gratitude has been shown to impact well being. So, if you're in a better headspace, you may find out that it is easier to get along with your in laws. And number 8 is to communicate with your partner. Tell your spouse about your uneasy feelings, but remember you are talking about their parents. Be vulnerable and open with your spouse, but when it comes to talking about their parents, keep in mind that there is a fine line between stating your feelings and being critical of their family. Be sensitive. The truth is, your spouse already knows more than likely about their parents. And of course, they did live with them throughout their most formative years. So talk to your spouse about your concerns because they may be completely unaware about the tension between you and their family members. So they can help mediate the situation. If you're struggling to deal with your in laws, it is important to seek out support from someone who can offer impartial advice. And this could be a friend or a relative who is one step removed from the situation. They will be able to offer you support and guidance without being biased. And the last but not the least, which is number 10, is to express your feelings. It is important to find a way to express your feelings in a healthy way. And this could be through praying, worshiping, meditating, or other forms of self expression. It is important to find a way to release the anger, the frustrations, the hurt that you're feeling, or else it will only fester and grow over time. Thank you so much for watching.